Good afternoon. I'm José Zeilstra, WBC Advisory Council member and CEO of Gender Fair. Gender Fair independently rates organizations on their gender and diversity practices when it comes to leadership and opportunities, employee policies, advertising, diversity reporting, and social responsibility. I am pleased to share that Johnson & Johnson rates amongst the best, not only in their industry, but across all industry. It is therefore my honor to introduce you to Joaquin Duato, Vice Chair of the Executive Committee at Johnson & Johnson. He's responsible for the company's pharmaceuticals and consumer sectors, along with supply chain, technology, health, and wellness. A career that has spanned more than 30 years, he has had significant achievements, including leading the turnaround of J&J's pharmaceutical sector, which grew into what is today to be the third largest innovative pharmaceutical sector globally. As a dual citizen of Spain and the United States, with extensive experience across the globe, his perspectives have given him an appreciation for the value of diversity of thought and opinions. This has served him well on many boards, including UNICEF USA and Hess Corporation, as well as serving as the executive sponsor of the African Ancestry Leadership Council at J&J. His commitment to nurturing a culture of diversity and inclusion was recognized by the Healthcare Businesswomen's Association when he was named 2017 Honorable Mentor. And before I turn it over to Joaquin, I hear he's very active on Twitter, so feel free to tweet during his talk and follow him at Joaquin Duato. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today, Joaquin.
Thank you, Jose, for the nice introduction. It's an honor to connect with you all virtually today and to be in the company of so many leaders and advocates committed to driving gender equity in the workplace. At Johnson & Johnson, we strive to foster a culture where everybody in the company is empowered to making a positive contribution to our purpose of changing the trajectory of health for humanity. Diversity, inclusion, and equity play a key role in our ability to fulfill our purpose. To succeed and grow, we know we must understand and embrace the diversity of our patients, consumers, and this understanding comes from ensuring that our workforce mirrors those we serve. Now, I'm sure you can tell from my accent that I am not originally from the US. I have had a wonderful career here, and now I'm a fully integrated US citizen. That said, when I first came here from Spain 18 years ago, I initially felt like an outsider. Networking was challenging, and I didn't have the same commonalities that made creating rapport easy. And it was at that point that several women leaders had a profound impact on helping me advance throughout our company. And in turn, that experience has helped me become a better advocate for gender diversity and inclusion in our workplace. I think we all can agree 2020 has been a year like no other. We're in the middle of what some are calling a double pandemic. We have the convergence of the COVID-19 virus with social injustice and economic uncertainty. But the silver lining is that these events also have created a sense of urgency that has thrust diversity and inclusion into the forefront of society's consciousness. And consequently, they have presented for an opportunity that we have today to listen and learn from our employees so that we can take action and drive meaningful change within our organizations and around the world. I firmly believe that dialogue is a positive step, but not enough. We also have to have action, and that action must come from the top. We as leaders are responsible for setting the tone for how our employees should think about and foster a more diverse and inclusive atmosphere within our organization. And we can do this in three ways. First is making sure that we are creating accountability by driving diverse representation at all levels of leadership and tracking our progress. The second is by ensuring we have flexible work arrangements so that our employees can better balance their work and life responsibilities. And the third one is by creating an inclusive environment where our employees can be their true selves at work. First, I mentioned the need to create accountability by driving diverse representation. One of the best ways we can do so is by ensuring that there are more women in people and people of color in leadership roles. And this is important for not only the most senior leadership roles, but leadership at all levels. We have seen that when we have more diverse leadership teams, they tend to hire and advance more diverse teams. At Johnson & Johnson, we have made gender, diversity, and inclusion a part of our enterprise scorecard and of every manager's evaluation. The enterprise scorecard is the instrument that the board of directors uses to evaluate our overall performance, and it's a key element in determining our annual compensation. Diversity and inclusion also are a key factor in every manager's leadership rating that in turn impacts potential for advancement and compensation. And this progress is reviewed every month to keep us honest. Second, we are also seeing a greater need for flexible work arrangements in the midst of this pandemic. While Johnson & Johnson always has had flexible work arrangements, COVID-19 has essentially rewired the way most of our employees engage with the workplace. At the height of the crisis, we saw that the lines between work and personal life blurred more than ever before, and that the concept of work-life balance was increasingly difficult to achieve. Employers were working double, if not triple duty as caregivers, teachers, and advocates in the wake of the recent events. Now that we are starting a phased return to the workplace, we have heard a clear demand from our employees through internal surveys that there is a need to maintain more flexibility in the way we work. The divergence in views between men and women reflect the reality that women are facing today, with more of our female employees appreciating the ability to work remote during the pandemic and requesting more flexibility in the future. We must keep that in mind as we are structuring work arrangements in the current and post-COVID-19 world, so we are setting every one of our employees up for success and advancement. Last but not least, advancing diversity is critical, but it isn't enough. We also need to be doing everything so we can create an inclusive environment where our teams and colleagues feel that they can be real, in an environment where they can show up at work as their authentic selves. At Johnson & Johnson, we have paid a lot of attention to inclusion over the years, and this is an area where we still have work to do. Interestingly enough, a recent internal survey showed that a number of our employees, regardless of gender or ethnicity, don't always feel free to speak up their minds each day. So this has reinforced that we need to double down on inclusion, ensuring we are fostering a culture where our employees feel that they belong. One of the ways we have been able to do this is through our employee resource groups, such as the Women's Leadership Initiative, as well through a variety of leadership development programs. These offerings create community and serve as a great talent development tool. We also have been creating more space for proactive dialogue around the civil unrest happening in the US and around the world. As the world's largest healthcare company, we have a profound opportunity to shape the future. And we recognize that the first step is to look within. So I would like you to ask in my closing to join me in several things. Join me in keeping ourselves accountable for driving diverse representation. Join me in providing more flexible work arrangements, and join me in creating more inclusive work environments. I'm confident that if we are able to do these three things within the more controlled environment of our workplaces, it will have a trickle-down effect on society. Progress will not happen overnight, but it won't happen at all if we don't keep advocating and if we don't continue working together. Thank you very much.